The surveillance footage is only 37 seconds long. A man in a gray hoodie steps into the hotel elevator alone at 11:38 p.m. He presses a button. He waits, but when the doors slide open again at 11:41, it's not him who steps out. Same hoodie, same shoes, but the man who exits moves differently. He doesn't glance around, doesn't even blink. He just looks straight into the lobby security camera and smiles. 3 hours later, police are called to room 724. There's blood everywhere, but no body and no sign of the man who entered that elevator. This is the story of Marcus Hale, a 28-year-old freelance graphic designer from Baltimore who checked into the Ashcroft Hotel for a quiet weekend alone and never came back. Ashcroft isn't the kind of place that makes headlines. It's a faded business hotel downtown. Nothing flashy, nothing suspicious. Just a row of rooms, bland carpet, and an elevator that runs slow if you press the button too many times. Marcus arrived on a Friday. No friends, no luggage except a backpack. He paid for 2 nights and asked for the 7th floor, room 724. The staff described him as polite and quiet, tired looking. He stayed in his room mostly, ordered food once, didn't bother anyone. His sister, Layla, was the last to hear from him. Just a quick text around 7:40 p.m. He wrote, "You ever feel like something's behind you? Even when you're alone?" She didn't answer right away. She wishes she had. At 10:50 p.m., Marcus is seen exiting his room and walking toward the elevator. No one else is visible on the hallway cameras. No one else calls a lift. At 11:38 p.m., he gets inside. He presses the button for floor 7. He looks down. His shoulders slump. Then the doors close. At 11:41, the elevator arrives on the 7th floor. The man who steps out is wearing the same hoodie, the same pants, the same sneakers. But something is off. His posture is straighter. His head turns unnaturally slow. When he looks at the hallway camera, his eyes don't move. He stares into the lens for a full 6 seconds. Then he walks, deliberately, down the wrong hallway, away from room 724. The footage cuts out. The next morning, at 11:04 a.m., a housekeeper named Yvonne knocks on the door of 724 for checkout. No answer. She knocks again. The door creaks open. It's already unlocked. The lights are off, but the heater's blasting full heat. Something smells rotten, thick and metallic, like spoiled meat. She steps inside. There's blood everywhere. The mattress is soaked through. The sheets are stiff. Something is lodged in the wooden closet door. What looks like a fingernail, cracked and bloody. And on the bathroom mirror, smeared in some brown-red substance, is a message. "He's not me." Police are called. Crime scene units flood the building. Room 724 is sealed off immediately. There's no sign of forced entry. No sign of a struggle. No fingerprints. Not even Marcus's. Tests confirm that the blood belongs to him. The nail, too. But there's something else. 2 sets of footprints in the blood. One matches Marcus's shoes. The other is barefoot, larger, and it leads into the room, but not out. Every guest on the 7th floor is questioned. No one saw or heard anything. The hallway cameras, which should have shown the figure heading toward room 724, are inexplicably blank between 11:42 and 11:58 p.m. A tech glitch, they say. No backup. The keycard data is even stranger. Marcus used his car to enter at 11:42 p.m. But at 3:06 a.m., the door is unlocked again with a different keycard. One assigned to a guest named William Keene. But Keene checked out 2 days earlier, and Keene has been dead for 5 years. Detectives dig deeper into Marcus's life. His apartment is clean, a little too clean. His workspace is obsessively organized. But inside one drawer, they find something unsettling. A sketchbook, dozens of drawings, distorted faces, split jaws, mirrored eyes, stitched mouths, notes scribbled in the margins. It's getting closer. The man in the mirror doesn't blink. He moves when I don't. In a journal beside his bed, entries grow more frantic. I caught my reflection smiling when I wasn't. He walks like me. He talks like me. But he's not me. I saw him in the elevator glass. He's waiting. Friends confirm Marcus had been paranoid for weeks. He believed someone was watching him. Someone who looked exactly like him. Layla tried to convince him to rest, to get away. So he picked a random city, booked a room, and left town. But maybe Marcus wasn't running from something. Maybe he was running toward it. The hotel itself becomes a point of interest. An investigator researching the building's past uncovers something odd. Before it was a hotel, it had been a state-run mental hospital, Birchfield Psychiatric Institute, shut down in the late 70s after a series of scandals involving unethical experiments, isolation chambers, mirror therapy, sensory deprivation. Room 724, one of the original treatment rooms. The only one on the 7th floor that was never gutted during renovations. Contractors had complained about the room. Cold spots, tools disappearing. One quit mid-job after claiming he saw his reflection walk away from him. Word gets out. Reddit picks up the story. True crime YouTubers dive in. The clip of the man in the elevator goes viral. TikTok users nickname him Mirror Man. And then, just when things begin to quiet down, someone is found. A hiker, 40 miles outside Pittsburgh, calls police after finding a barefoot man walking along the highway, clothes soaked in blood, mouth sewn shut, fingernails torn, clutching a hotel room key. Room 724. At first, police think it's Marcus, but the fingerprints don't match. The man is Tobias Mercer, reported missing in 2019. Last seen entering an elevator in a Chicago hotel. An elevator he never exited. Now he's here, mouth sealed, unable to speak, and clearly terrified of mirrors. Detectives believe Marcus and Tobias are connected, that they may not be the first, or the last, because here's what no one can explain. If the man in the elevator wasn't Marcus, then who is he? And more importantly, where is Marcus now? In the next episode, we'll break down the contents of a recovered notebook Tobias was found carrying. Pages filled with diagrams, cryptic entries, and something truly chilling. A drawing of two men facing each other across a mirror, one smiling, the other screaming. But one warning appears again and again. Don't trust the one who comes out. Stay tuned. And whatever you do, don't look too long in the mirror. When they found Tobias Mercer on that frozen back road outside Pittsburgh, barefoot and blood-soaked, clinging to a hotel key for room 724, everyone thought the nightmare was over. They were wrong. Because Tobias Mercer wasn't Marcus Hale, the man who vanished in that hotel elevator 2 weeks earlier. Tobias had been missing for 4 years. Last seen in Chicago. Same story, same elevator, same pattern. He goes in, nothing comes out. Until now, he's alive, barely. Terrified of his own reflection, he won't speak. Not because he refuses, but because his lips have been crudely sewn shut with dental floss. His hands, mangled, fingernails torn out, his wrists covered in mirror shard cuts. But when doctors sedate him and clean his wounds, they find something tucked beneath the stitches in his mouth. A tiny rolled scrap of paper, 5 words written in blood. Don't believe his face. Investigators realize this case isn't local anymore. There's a pattern, a horrifying one. Over the past 7 years, at least 9 people have vanished in hotels across the country. Always alone, always in elevators, always with no witnesses and no exit footage. Most were never found. The FBI gets involved. They connect the dots. Marcus Hale, Tobias Mercer, William Keene. The name tied to the Phantom key card swipe at 3:06 a.m. Keene disappeared in a Miami hotel in 2018. Same MO, but the revelation that turns everything upside down? Tobias's case file includes a police sketch from 2019, drawn from a gas station clerk who claimed to have seen him days after his disappearance. The sketch doesn't show Tobias's face. It shows Marcus Hale's. The exact face. Authorities rewatched the Ashcroft elevator footage from the night Marcus vanished. But this time, forensic analysts focus not on Marcus, but his reflection in the metal elevator doors, frame by frame. And that's when they see it. For a split second, as Marcus looks down at the floor, his reflection is still staring directly into the camera, smiling. They slow it, zoom it. There are 2 sets of eyes, one blinking, one not. With Tobias sedated, investigators gain access to a notebook he was found carrying. Its pages warped by blood and water damage, but the contents are chilling. Inside, crude sketches of hotel elevators, scratch symbols, mirror diagrams, but also names. Names of the missing. Some marked with an X, others with strange glyphs. Then one phrase, repeated 13 times across the pages. It wears your skin like clothes. But the most disturbing entry is on the back page. When it takes you, it copies your last thought. That's how it knows what to say. That's why it always feels so close. Because it's made of you. The more you resist, the deeper it digs in. Once you look in the eye, it's too late. Detectives are still reeling when a call comes in from the Ashcroft Hotel. A new guest. Checked into room 724 just days after police cleared the scene. Is found dead. Same setup. Blood-soaked sheets. Fingernails missing. But this time there's a body. Or at least, something that used to be human. The face is twisted. Half of it melted. As if it had been reshaped mid-expression. A smile frozen in the wrong direction. The eyes are different colors. The fingerprints? Partial match to Marcus Hale. But not perfect. In his hand. A page ripped from Tobias's notebook. Only 3 words this time. He's still inside. The Ashcroft is shut down. Again, this time for good. Hazmat teams seal off the 7th floor. Paranormal investigators swarm Reddit. Conspiracy theorists point to experiments in the 1970s. Mirror therapy, doppelgänger folklore, MK Ultra spin-offs. But one theory keeps surfacing. A name, an urban legend whispered on dark web forums. The Hollow Man, a being that doesn't kill you. It replaces you and uses your body to keep going. Layla Hale, Marcus's sister, goes public. She posts a video pleading for help. My brother isn't dead. I can feel it. The thing in that footage, it's not him. And if it has him, that means he's still somewhere. She leaks a voicemail Marcus left her 4 days before his trip. Lay, if anything happens to me if I disappear, don't believe the version of me that shows up. That's not your brother, no matter what it says. 2 nights later, Layla disappears from her apartment. No signs of forced entry. No security footage of anyone coming in or out. But the next morning, her phone uploads a photo to the cloud. It's a blurry mirror selfie. She's standing in her hallway, but in the reflection behind her, standing just over her shoulder, is Marcus. Only he's smiling. And she isn't. Meanwhile, back at the hospital, Tobias Mercer wakes up screaming. Nurses rush in. His mouth is unstitched, but his voice is raspy, shredded. He says just one thing before flatlining. Don't let it out. But it's already too late. Across the country, surveillance cameras begin picking up strange elevator footage. People entering alone. Coming out subtly changed. They walk differently. Blink less. Smile too wide. Speak just a little too slowly. But no one questions it until it's too late. One by one, they blend in, taking jobs, living lives, wearing the faces of people long gone. And every once in a while, they glance at reflective surfaces, not to check their appearance, but to make sure it hasn't followed them. In a lab in Quantico, analysts re-examine the Ashcroft keycard logs from the night Marcus vanished. They find a new entry. A second room was accessed at 3:08 a.m., room 726. It had never been mentioned before. It wasn't even on the guest list, but the room existed. It just wasn't supposed to be unlocked. Agents rush back to the hotel, break the lock. Inside, dust, mold, and mirrors. Every wall, every ceiling tile, every inch covered in mirrors, and carved into the center of the floor. Only one can leave. Back in Baltimore, a man walks into a police station. He's gaunt, pale, covered in cuts. He claims to be Marcus Hale, but something's off. He doesn't remember his birthday. He stares too long between questions. He blinks once every 42 seconds. When officers ask him about Tobias Mercer, he tilts his head and says, "He still remembers me?" Then he smiles. The next morning, the entire police station surveillance system crashes. All backups wiped. Only one clip survives. It shows Marcus standing alone in the holding cell, staring at the camera. Then he steps out of frame. And something else steps into view. It looks like him, but its eyes are empty. Its reflection, missing. And the final frame, a blurred glimpse of Layla Hale, standing outside the precinct, waiting to pick up her brother. Except her reflection is already in the car, smiling, It's 6:13 a.m. when Layla Hale pulls into the Baltimore precinct parking lot. She's there to pick up her brother, the man claiming to be Marcus Hale. But security footage shows something impossible. Layla's car is empty, except for her reflection, smiling from the driver's seat. The man in the holding cell is calm. Too calm. He's wearing Marcus's hoodie. His face is identical. Same scar above the brow. Same voice. But when detectives ask him where he's been, he just says, "You're asking the wrong me." They run a DNA test. It's a 97% match to Marcus Hale, but not 100%. There are anomalies, fragments in the genome that don't map to anything human. It's as if something tried to rebuild Marcus Hale from memory, but didn't quite get it right. Meanwhile, across the country, people are disappearing. LA, Chicago, Denver, Atlanta, always the same pattern. Enters elevator alone, doesn't come out, or worse, comes out wrong. Facial recognition systems flag them as duplicates of missing persons. Except now, there are two versions of some victims, one living a quiet life, the other showing up on grainy camera feeds, both claiming to be the real one. The FBI dubs them echo cases. And here's the terrifying part. They're multiplying. Back in Baltimore, agents try to interrogate Marcus. They show him photos of victims, places, the elevator. He doesn't blink. Until they show him Tobias Mercer's body. That's when he speaks. You left him in the in-between. That's why it's angry. They ask what is angry. He leans forward. It doesn't want freedom. It wants replacement. They sedate him for further testing. But when they return to cell, he's gone. No signs of escape. No camera footage. Nothing. Only a mirror shard left on the floor. On the wall, written in condensation, "She's next." They realize it too late. Layla never made it home. At 7:02 a.m., her phone pings near the Ashcroft Hotel. She's seen on the elevator camera, stepping in alone. But this time, something's different. The elevator doesn't move. It stays between floors. For 11 minutes, when the doors open again, there's no one inside, but her reflection is still standing there, smiling. That same night, a strange blackout hits 3 cities simultaneously, all tied to echo cases. Power grids fry, server rooms overheat, elevator systems reboot. When power is restored, the system shows something new. A hidden file, a folder not created by any human operator. Inside, dozens of silent video clips. People entering mirrored rooms. Some weeping, some screaming, some standing perfectly still, watching themselves fall apart. But one video is labeled Hale_726.mp4. The FBI watches in silence. It's Marcus, or a version of him. He's in room 726. But there's no furniture, no windows, just mirrors. He's pacing, mumbling to himself, then stops and looks directly at the camera, as if he knows someone's watching, and says, "You found the wrong one. The real me is still in here." Then, from the mirrored wall behind him, another Marcus steps out, identical, except he's not blinking, and he's smiling, too wide. Suddenly the feed glitches. The lights flicker, and when the screen stabilizes, there are now 3 Marcuses, each staring into the lens. One speaks. This is how it spreads. Not through infection, through perception. The moment you believe we're real, we are. The agents scramble to shut down the server, but it's too late. The footage uploads automatically onto law enforcement networks, media servers, social platforms. Within 90 seconds, the video is everywhere. Millions see it, and thousands start reporting the same thing. Mirrors don't reflect correctly. Elevators stall mid-trip. Family members are acting wrong. One post goes viral. "My brother came home last night. He's smiling too much. He keeps asking if I remember how we used to play in the mirror." The thing is, my brother died in 2018. A Redditor uncovers something buried in old internet archives. A post from a 2009 defunct paranormal forum. They come from the silver. If you stare too long, they copy. Once the elevator stops, they step through, One of you leaves. One of you stays. But the world forgets which is which. At a remote compound in West Virginia, a retired government researcher named Elias Greer comes forward. He worked on the Birchfield Project in the 70s, the same psychiatric facility where Room 724 once operated. He says it was never about treating patients. It was about testing boundaries. We wanted to prove the mind could project itself, split itself, but sometimes something else answered back. He warns that the mirror experiments didn't create the entity. They invited it. Elias believes the only way to sever the echo is to destroy its anchor, the original Marcus Hale. But here's the twist. They don't know where he is. Because he never left the mirror room, he's still inside room 726, watching, waiting, and now he's not alone. As of this week, 7 more disappearances have been reported, all linked to mirrored elevators. A woman in Phoenix posts a final text. The thing in the mirror just smiled back, but I didn't smile. I think it's my turn. Then she vanishes. And the final recording? A maintenance worker inspecting the Ashcroft elevator late at night. He's alone, lights flickering. As the elevator doors close, he stares at his reflection and whispers. I don't remember putting this on. He looks down at his uniform. It's not his name on the tag. It says, Hale, the FBI surrounds the Ashcroft Hotel. Room 726 is sealed off. No power, no windows, no reflections. Inside, they believe the original Marcus Hale is still alive, trapped. But here's the terrifying part. They don't know which Marcus is real anymore. Agents suit up with body cams, infrared goggles, and zero reflective surfaces. A specialist enters room 726. At first, nothing. Dust. Silence. Then movement. A figure sits in the far corner. Thin. Dirty. Pale. He raises his head. It's Marcus. Or one of them. He whispers. You have to break the mirrors. All of them. Before it becomes everyone. Behind the agent, something shifts in the glass panel of the door. Just for a second, his reflection turns and smiles. But the agent hasn't moved. He calls for backup. Too late. His comms go silent. When the team busts in, room 726 is empty again. Only the agent's equipment remains. And a new mirror on the wall that wasn't there before. Inside the mirror, footage of him, trapped, screaming, pounding the glass. On the outside, his reflection turns, smiles again, and walks away in his body. Across the country, reports explode. Reflections acting independently. People waking up with bruises they don't remember getting. A woman in Texas claims her daughter came back from a school trip, but now sleeps with her eyes open. The government issues no comment. But a leak from inside Homeland Security reveals a chilling directive. Avoid elevators alone. Avoid mirrors after 3 a.m. If you see yourself acting strangely, it's not stress. It's a warning. That night, the Ashcroft Hotel burns to the ground. Authorities blame faulty wiring, but no one explains a message carved into the concrete after the fire. One of them escaped. And then one last horror. A live stream begins broadcasting to random devices. Phones, TVs, smart fridges. It's static for 11 minutes. Then it shows Marcus, or what looks like him. He's sitting in a mirrored room, silent, eyes wide. Then he leans into the lens and says, "We're not copies. You are." The stream cuts off. No trace of where it came from. Only one thing is certain. One of them is out. And the next time you ride alone in an elevator, if your reflection smiles before you do, don't move. Don't blink. And whatever you do, don't trust what steps out when the doors open.